Hello, everyone. Welcome in to Unspoken Real Talk, where men come to talk about everything mental wellness. Today, I'm excited. I'm like really super jazzed up. We have Steve Foster with us. He has an amazing book. I'm gonna let him tell you about it because I'm like way jazzed up about it. But anyway, welcome in, Stephen. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just definitely excited to be here and just share today. So I'm super excited. How's your day going?
So far, so good. Like I said, I'm not at work, so life is good. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself before I start questioning you about that good book?
Sure. So just a simple thing for me. So once again, my name is Steven from Baltimore, Maryland, born and raised here. And so for me, the simple thing about myself is that I am a pastor. I am a coach. I am a father. I am a disciple. And I am just an ever long learner. And so that's one thing that life has just taught me to be an ever long learner. And so I'm definitely here to share as many lessons as that I have, because I think, my dad used to say it this way. He said, experience is a good teacher, but it's not the best teacher. Sometimes other people's lessons are the greatest lessons you need to learn. And some people's like, no, I need to touch the stove to know that it's hot. But I think that we're in a season that if we could actually learn from others' mistakes, then we can be so much further along in life. Because Drake really got it wrong. I didn't start from the bottom. I started from the shoulders of other people's lessons. And so I'm not starting from the bottom. And I don't think you don't have to start from the bottom, if you can just take the cues from some of the more intelligent people that have learned life lessons and got up from those lessons and made success.
I like that. I never thought about it like that because we're not always at the bottom. We may feel like the bottom, but we're not at the bottom. So you have a book out, and the reason why I was excited about it, it touches on something that I stay with: a fear of failure. How did you come up with the book? Tell the people about your book.
Yeah, and I think that is a interesting word that we put into our vocabulary. And I think this is something that has helped me in so much, that word of failure. Like, if we can change our perspective, because I think perspective is everything. Perspective is so powerful. And so when our perspective is a perspective of failure, then you think that everything is in lines of right or wrong. And when you can change your perspective on failure, it's either I've won or I've learned how to be better next time. And so there's no such thing as failure in a resilient person, and a person that can continue to get up. Like, if you look at someone like the KFC man, or you look at Oprah Winfrey, all of these people have had life lessons. They have had wins, and we see their success, and we see their ESPN reel. But when we can change our perspective on life lessons and stop calling them failures, then we can be more resilient. It's like, man, I learned how not to handle myself in this relationship. I learned how to not handle my business this way so I can be a better business partner. I learned how to love my children so I am not handling them in a mismanaged way. And so for me, that is even what stemmed from the book being right on schedule, is that you can see yourself right on schedule if you don't see the things in your life as failures. And so if you understand that, hey, like, everything in life, and the Bible says this, it says that all things work together for our good. It doesn't say that all things are good, but it says it works together for our good. And so when you look at life lessons, I continue to replace that word failures. When we look at our life lessons as, hey, this is a life lesson, and in this life lesson, how can I see and learn from this? Because no matter what happens, it's going to work out for my good. And so that's what has helped me understand that in life I'm right on schedule. Yes, I turn. I look 21. Don't I look 21, right? I look 21.
All of 18,
Oh,
yes.
I know. So I am getting old, and so I turned 42. Turn 42 in 2 weeks. Turn 40. I think I'm turning 42. See, when you start getting old, you just forget how old you are. I turned 42. Turn 42 in 2 weeks, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about it, But there are a lot of things that I thought like, hey, by 42, I would do this. And by 42, life would look like this. And by 42, this would happen. I didn't think by 42, I would be divorced. I didn't think by 42, like I would be restarting a church. I didn't think by 42, like I thought I would have 2 kids on their way to the NFL. I'm just joking. But I mean, we all
Mhm.
have ideas and goals. But what life has taught me is that, hey, I know you had a plan, but God has an ultimate plan. He has a perfect plan. And in his perfect plan, it may not look like your schedule, but your plan is still lining up with his uh, ordained schedule. And so for me, I had to learn that, like, hey, wherever I am right now, I'm right on schedule. Like, this isn't a surprise to God. Like, he isn't surprised where you currently are. He's not surprised where you woke up this morning. He's not surprised where you're going to go to sleep. You may be disappointed on some of the life lessons that you experience, but the life for me that has helped me is to wake up and reassure myself today, I am right where I need to be because I'm right on schedule.
Which is the title of the book.
which
Which is the title of the book.
Yeah.
So when you said that, like more or less reprogramming to take yourself from the word failure to life lessons. So when you have been conditioned to say fear of failure, and then you switch it to what, because I was listening to you, of course, and it says life lessons, but you have the fear of failure. So I'm looking at fear of failure like I want to go out and I've done it, but I want to go out and jump out of an airplane, but I have that fear of something happening. So if we're changing it to life lessons or learning lessons, how do we get away from the actual fear of failure if we don't know what the lessons are going to be?
Yeah, and I think, see, and that's it kind of goes back to control. I think
Mhm.
even the fear of failure is really stemmed around the concept of I control my life. I control this. And so failure simply says I don't want to do this because I don't know the outcome. But when I can switch it with the concept that all things work together and understanding that this is a life lesson, it says that, hey, if this doesn't work the way that I intended it to work, it still is going to work for my good and I'm going to learn from it. And it helps you be resilient because, a proverb says is that a righteous man falls 7 times. And so, like, you're going to fall, but falling doesn't make you a failure. And so having the fear of failure isn't saying that you won't make mistakes. It's not saying that you'll get it right every single time. Like, you're going to get things wrong. But if we can look at life, it says, okay, I may fall. I may make a mistake. I may not get it right. It may not look the way that I intend for it to look. But if I can change it from thinking of it from that perspective and says, hey, like, I might fall, but it's going to work for my good. Like, even in boxing, like, I love boxing. A boxing bag's right there in my background. And one thing I had to learn, even with boxing, is that the more you punch it, the more you shape your hands to get callous, and they get callous, and it gets stronger, and it gets stronger. And sometimes the falling down, it helps. Like, I was training my son in football, and one of the first things I had to do to get him used to contact is I have to get him to basically get down on the ground and just fall on the ground and see what it feels like to hit the ground and see what it feels like to hit the ground. Like, because letting him know that, like, hey, if you're going to play football, you're going to hit the ground. You can't not hit the ground. Like, if you're a good football player, you're going to get tackled. You're going to have to tackle people. You're going to have to feel what it feels like to hit the ground. And so that's what sometimes what that reshaping is like, hey, like, I have to understand what it feels like to fall. I have to understand what it feels like for rough times, but understanding in these rough times, in the fail, in the life lessons, I have the resiliency to understand that all things are going to work for my good. And so every time I have a life lesson, it is building a callus to make me stronger for the next time and the next time and the next time.
So as you know, and I've said this like 3 times already, that I was excited about you being here for more than one reason, but to hear what you're saying, because even though this is supposed to be about the men, but I'm gonna jump in. I'm receiving it. because I have this book that I feel like I'm letting myself down and people that are waiting for it because I can't get to it and give it the time that it needs. So hence the failure part comes in. But when you have me to rethink about it, think it in a different way, maybe it's just not time for that book to get me to work on that book right now. For whatever reason, I just need to go when I have the time or the time presents itself, that's when that book is supposed to be written, and not keep beating myself up like I've been doing for the last month and a half because I cannot sit down for 1 hour to add to it. So there's going to be like this lady in Illinois when I go, she's going to be disappointed because she emails me once a month. Is the book ready? Will it be ready when you get to Indianapolis? So I feel like I'm letting her down because I don't have the time to devote to it. So that's that part that comes in that.
Yeah, and can I offer another perspective? Can I offer another perspective?
Yeah.
So here's another perspective, and I want to take that perspective even from a season that I'm walking through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in a season right now where, like I said, I'm in the process of doing a lot of rebuilding. And when you are successful in certain things, and then you have difficult life lessons in other areas, it almost creates a gun shy, right? And you almost second guessing what the next step should be, or if the next step is going to look like the previous step that I had that life lesson on. And so what I had to begin to do with that is even my own self. Like I'm like, hey, I want to build a community. I want to start a church again. I want to continue to build. I want to continue to do leadership. But what I don't want, God, I don't want it to look like it looked before. And what ends up happening is that I found myself in a doom loop of doing nothing, hoping that it doesn't look like it did before. And so I'll spend, and even and I'm actually happy that we're doing this live, because I'm in a season where I'm like, hey, I want my voice to be heard. And a lot of people have asked me, like, hey, Stephen, we haven't heard this from you. We haven't seen this from you. And we haven't seen this from you. And I'm saying also to kind of piggyback to what you said was,
Mm-hmm.
it was literally me paralyzing myself, saying that if I do this, will I get the same result as before? And I had to shift it and say, listen, if I am doing what I'm supposed to do, if I am doing it to the best of my ability, and it does not go the way that I think it should go, it doesn't matter, because I was obedient in doing the thing that I know that it was in my heart and that I was told to do. And I was told to, hey, I need you to build a community. Hey, I need you, and I'm gonna take all this back in a second because I'm gonna connect it. I need you to build a community.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be a difference maker. I want you to do this. And all of these I's are things that I believe that God was telling me to do. And so here is the part where you take the pressure off of you. I love Psalms 23. It says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, I shall not need. And then it says, he makes me to lie down in green pastures, and he restores my soul. I love that. But then it goes on, it says, and he does certain things for his name's sake, right? And so when I connect all that back together, like the reason why I can take the next step, and if I have another life lesson, it doesn't matter if the life lesson looked like the last life lesson, because what my responsibility is I put the responsibility not on myself, but on the one who told me to do it. And so if I'm trusting the one who told me to do it, the outcome has nothing to do with me. The obedience has everything to do with me. And so even with your book, hear what I'm saying, because I think sometimes we like, hey, like, yes, I had a book that was a bestseller. I had a book that did awesome. But what if that book reached 2 people and changed their life, and their life touched 10,000 people's lives? But because you were quiet and you wanted to wait till it could reach 10,000, it didn't reach the 2,000 that could have reached the 20,000. And so now you didn't even reach the 10,000, but you didn't reach the 2 either. And so I'm in a season where I'm like, hey, I am simply going to offer what you told me back to you, and the result is up to you. Obedience is my responsibility. Am I building a community? Am I coming on Facebook Live? Am I doing podcasts? Am I discipling? Am I in my word? Am I doing those things? Yes. Well, everything after that, the outcome is up to him. And so the life lesson that comes from it is I'm obedient. And if I'm obedient, and some people might get offended by this. And I hope your viewers, I hope my viewers don't get offended by this.
It's okay. You speak here. No judgment.
But here's the thing. If I am obedient and I do exactly what he told me to do, and he fails or it fails, hear my heart. Like, who has more weight of looking like they didn't come through, you or God? And so when you put it back on him and say, hey, I'm simply doing what you told me to do, and if you're obedient, then the outcome is his. But when we try to take on the outcome, it's become stressful. We get burnt out. We try to prove ourselves. We try to do all of these things. And he's like, no, all that is my job. Your job is to simply do the thing I told you to do. I know that was a long-winded way of saying it, but I simply want to say, do it, and do it. And if it just reached that one woman in Illinois, was it Illinois?
Yeah, Illinois.
If it ever reached that one woman in Illinois and it changes her life, that is the reward that you're getting multiplied off of, not the reward of a best-selling title. And that's even for me, because he's like, hey, you want to build a community. Let's say this community doesn't reach 1,000, but it reaches 12. Do you know what I did with 12? I changed the world. And so if it doesn't reach this magnitude that you think it should reach, but it reaches this 12, do you know how this 12 can take it and turn the world upside down? By the obedience of doing the simple thing. And so sometimes we're trying to wait to see the big thing, and he's saying, no, do the simple thing and I can multiply it. Like I talk about this in my book too. What he did with 2 fish and 5 loads. And some of us are sitting on our 2 fish and 5 loads. And he says, do you know the multitude I could feed with the story that you have? Do you know the magnitude I can do with the little bit you think you have? Oh man, no one cares about my story. No one cares about hearing that they're right on schedule. No one cares about that they have a great seat. And he says, you're sitting on 2 fish and 5 loads. And not only did I feed the multitude once with that, if you're really a Bible reader, he did it 2 times. He did the same miracle 2 times with the same thing. And I think it signifies what he can do with the simple obedience when it's given back to him.
You see my wheels rolling. So when I did my first seminar, men's mental health seminar, there were supposed to be 60 people had signed up to come, and 4 people showed up. And that's when I really started kicking myself. And it wasn't, the amount of money that I put into it or not. It's just that, where were the other 56? And when I hear it this way, even though it's 3 years later, I feel like I can let that go, because there are 4 people in there that came to the seminar to hear it. So though like I said, when you put it that way and I hear it, I receive it. So I didn't fail. I reached 4 people.
Yep.
So I didn't fail. That was not a failure.
And I think that's so key when we look at it that way, because I think for us, we are and you don't know the impact that you had on that. Like there are certain times where people reach out to me now, and I think that what I did or what I said, it didn't mean anything. And I was like, oh man, I just did this little thing. And I have one person right now that until this day, they have moved all around. They travel here. They have went to some amazing places. But the first thing that they tell people when they go somewhere new is that Stephen Foster is my pastor. When I was in one of the roughest seasons of my life, he walked with me. He walked with me and my family through it. And that was 12 years ago. That was 12 years ago. And they moved to New Jersey. They've moved to Philly. They have associated with other churches. But every place they go, they make it very clear. Hey, I want people to know how this moment in my life changed my life forever. And there are other stories like that. And they were in the simplest moments where I thought like, oh, I'm just doing this. Oh, like, why am I wasting my time with this? Oh, why am I going to coffee with this person? And then years later, they come back and be like, you remember that time we went to coffee? Like, I mean, I really thought about killing myself. But like when you reminded me of the love of God, when you reminded me of the strength to keep fighting, when you reminded me of, to continue in my faith, like it changed everything in me. And it made me have a renewed joy for my marriage. It made me have a renewed joy for life. And those stories aren't, and it's funny that though I have more of those stories in the simple moments of my life than on some of the biggest stages of my life.
That kind of, that ties back to the podcast. It's ongoing. It has not stopped. I get messages from women that say, why are you, basically one of them just said, why are you wasting your time, advocating for men's mental health? They're not going to do anything. You can spend your time and money on something else instead of, and then I'm like, why? And all the messages that I've gotten over the last 2 years have been all from female, of course, and they all want me to just, why? They keep saying why. And one day I got angry and I said, well, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? So that was kind of like a turning point too, because I took a break during Christmas because I was doing 83 hours a week. And I'm like, people were saying, where's it at? We watched all the episodes. Where are you guys? So I had to, like you said, be disciplined, tell the job, I do not work on Wednesdays. This is, if you give me that one day, this is the day I dedicate to it. So it's Wednesdays. So here I am, I'm back.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Like I said, like there has been, it was a whole year when I was quiet and silent, because I was going through my own wills on, does it matter? Like, who cares? Like, is anyone even realizing that I didn't do it? And then when you get those messages, it was like, hey, like it's been a while. Like, are you okay? And it's like, yeah, I'm okay, but I'm just, I'm second guessing myself. And so I had to get back to the position where I was just like, no, I am going to do the simple thing consistently. And even now, like I'm in a series in my table talks where I just want to talk about discipline, because in this season, as a man, I want to be disciplined, because that same discipline is something that I want to show to my son. It's something that I want to model to him, that like, hey, through tough times, your dad remained disciplined. Hey, through rough seasons, he showed discipline. And that is something that I want to plant the seed of discipline. And so it's something that I have to model it, versus just saying it. Like, I know we can talk about it, but it's something that I want to make sure that I'm modeling.
Yeah, lead by example. So, not to touch on too much, but you say you were going through some things. What steps did you take to help you process through some of the stuff that was disturbing your mental?
Yeah. So one thing, what I had to start with, and I think this is a good place to start, even with men, with people, is that you have to recognize that you already have a great seat. And what I mean by that, I'll break it down. I talk about it in the book. But when you understand your current position, it's amazing. And most of us are, if you know anything about Olympics or different things like that, there is something called a PR and it's a WR. One stands for personal record and the other stands for world record.
Okay.
And And I think that a lot of times in life, um, for me, what was happening is that I wasn't trying to run PRs, and this will preach a little bit. I wasn't running for my personal best. I was trying to prove a world record, and that is something that is outside of me. And so, what I had to start doing is I had to understand that Stephen Foster, have a great seat. If you look at the story, if you look at the story of Jesus, the first thing he did before he ever did anything, when he got baptized, his father looked at him and says, "This is my son who I am well pleased with." And for me, that is the place where a lot of my mental health had to remind myself of who I am, what position I currently have before I'm a pastor, before I'm a father, before I'm a husband, before I'm a friend, before I'm anything else. I had to look at myself and say, hey, who am I in him? Who does he say about me? What does he say about me? Because if I am trying to run a world record, there's another passage that says this: did you become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit in without even thinking about it? And so where my mental health was crashing is because every single day I was waking up saying, like, well, how do I achieve more of this? And how do I do more of this? And how do I do more of that? And how can I be more like this person? And how can I get there faster? And then I had to look inside myself and say, hey, Stephen, what's your PR for today? And in the book, I kind of set that PR thing up like this. It says, I say it like this in chapter 6. It says, every day I woke up and said, Stephen, today you're going to eat pies. And it simply means this: every single day, how I had to kind of reposition myself mentally. It says, every single day I'm going to wake up and eat pies. And I said, today, Stephen, you are running your own personal best. And so this is what you need to do to eat pies. How today can you be physically better than you were yesterday? How can you be intellectually better than you are yesterday? How can you be emotionally better than you were yesterday? And how can you be spiritually better than you were yesterday? And if you do that, wake up every single day and focus on the pie that is in front of you, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually better, then you can position yourself because you already have a great seat. And if you eat the pie that's in front of you, you'll become a better version of you every single day. It's not about becoming 50% better, but every single day I wake up and says, hey, how can I be 1% better than I was yesterday?
I like that. I just wake up and run for the coffee and go out the door. So, it's just like, there's no time to think. There's no time to think. Wow.
And so for me, like I literally in my phone, I set a reminder. At 9:30. And I wish let me see if I can see it show on the screen. It's a reminder every single day. Let's see if you can see it. Can you see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And so I set a reminder for me every single day. At the end of the day, I ask myself, hey, did you eat pie today? Because if you didn't eat pie today, then you're not preparing yourself for tomorrow. If you aren't physically better, intellectually better, emotionally better, and spiritually better today than you were yesterday, then you aren't preparing yourself for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to come with its own drama. And the way that you fortify yourself is becoming better today. Because every day I want to become a better version of me, a better version of me, a better version of me. And that's why a lot of people every year they want to have New Year resolutions. But I think every single day, my resolution is, am I better than yesterday? Like I'm not perfect. I still get things wrong. Like, I joke all the time. Like, I talk with my hands. And so, like, you piss me off long enough, I might put my hands on you. And so, but the goal is, am I better than I was yesterday? Hey, am I physically better? I don't know if you ever heard the memes. Like, I can't trust. Hey, listen, if you're out there and this is you, I know I got it. But listen, I can't. I heard people say, like, I can't trust a fat pastor because you're not physically better than you were yesterday. I can't trust it because that shows you don't have discipline. That's a whole other thing. But another thing is, intellectually, like, hey, how am I reading? Am I reading? Am I meditating? Am I doing the things to be intellectually better? And I think that helps me mentally be better. Emotionally, hey, how am I handling emotion? And I know that's a whole topic within itself, that I can go down. Is that I think even when you talk about men and mental health, I personally think, and we live in a society. This is my squirrel. Sorry, I have ADD. Squirrel. I think we live in a society where women say that they want emotionally available man until he's emotionally available, and when he's emotionally available, because here's the thing, they want to see the strong side of the man, but as soon as they see the emotional side of the man, they aren't strong enough to handle the emotional side. And so you want the strong man,
Mhm.
but when the man shows you his emotions, you aren't strong enough to handle the emotional side because you want him to always be strong. And so if he comes and says, man, I'm tired today. Like, man, like rough, like work is tough. And then the female looks like, man, you need to man up. It's like, what? I thought you told me you wanted to be emotionally available. And as soon as I open up to you, now you want me to be strong again. So you want me to be emotionally available, but when I am, you aren't strong enough to handle it.
And see, that goes back to what we said before, that the men are conditioned to basically suck it up, buttercup, don't show emotions. And I it's frustrating from this side to be the one that's trying to encourage and tell our men that it's okay to do that. But then you're also fighting that, and this is not a disclaimer. I normally put my disclaimer out for my females, but this is not it. You also have that percentage that as soon as they come in and they say, hey, I had a bad day, I want to talk about it, or there's something going on, they
Yeah.
somehow manage, and again, no disclaimer, to turn it around and use it against them. But like you said, you want the strong man, but you want the man to show his feelings. But when he shows his feelings, you turn around and you put it back in his face. How is that supporting anybody? How is that helping him be who he? How? Because that in turn for me, and this, I'm not a doctor, would not be healthy. I mean, it's not healthy. So how? That's my struggle, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm trying to be disciplined.
Yeah,
Um, and
and even when I talk to, like, when I talk to a lot of my brothers, like they'll share it, and it's like, yo, like I can't be vulnerable. Like I have to remain the head of the house. Like
mhm.
I can't tell her that like I'm trying to shuffle and juggle, and I'm trying to do this to pay the bills, because she's not going to be able to handle if she knows that I'm struggling here. So you know what? I'll just suck it up. And then when the outbreak happens, where then men, because I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was saying to me, like, man, like I'm in a moment where I just want my wife to hold me. I just want her to hold me, like, but I can't even tell her that without her seeing it as something that is not. Like, I just had a hard day. All I want her to do is hold me. Um, and when I share that with her, she turns it back on me. And so what it actually makes me do is feel like I should just find me a side chick just to cuddle with, because I can't take this to her. Because if I show her this side of me, she's gonna see it as weakness.
and then so that's probably where I get like really defensive, because I can't understand, if you're with somebody that you care about, why aren't you supporting them? And I mean, this is in my own opinion, but you should be able to receive the good, the bad, sickness, and health. And if he wants to come home, so let's change this a little bit. So if he comes home and he tears a house up and he's breaking dishes and he's cussing and drinking,
Mm-hmm.
we can receive that,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't receive a man who just wants to sit down and talk to you and tell you how he's feeling, to have a conversation, to have someone that he can Yeah, see, that's where I get on my soapbox and go, I don't understand. That's why I don't understand why I keep getting the messages that I'm wasting my time trying to help our brothers and our men know that it's okay to talk when you have people that won't let them talk. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I
It's
guess
like the double
I
standard.
got a little passionate about that, but
No,
it's so
it's the double
frustrating.
standard. You know how, if men have the double standard where, our I just, let's put it out there. We have the double standard on our body count, but women have the double standard on the emotional. It's like you say you want this, but it's really that. So it's a double standard. It's a double standard.
It's not right. But I mean, we got double standards on everything, but it's so how, that's like I said, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. How do we break it or slow the stigma down or at least get it out there if you're fighting at every turn? Like you said, your friend loves his person, but what he needs is not at home. And that's I'm not saying go out and do it, but I'm just saying if it's not at home and he can't talk to her, then is he wrong?
No, and yes,
That's what
yes,
I'm saying. Is
yes,
he
yes, yes,
wrong?
yes, yes. I mean, on one side, yes,
Yes,
he
but
is wrong.
yeah, but I'm
No,
just
no, no.
saying,
I'm with you. Yes, but no, and I agree. I agree. And it is a dysfunction, um, and it's also a struggle. It's also a struggle because, and I'll share just my own personal thing is because what ends up happening is that you start internalizing that and seeing it as rejection. And when you start internalizing that, and listen, before I want to put a disclaimer out there. I own my own decisions in the choices that I make. And so what
mhm,
I am about to say, I am saying, hey, it was a decision that I made that I shouldn't. For some, because you'll say something that's like, oh, well, he said somebody made. No. I want to be clear what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you feel like that, this is where the addiction of porn comes up. This is where, because now when you watch porn, you aren't rejected when you watch porn. You aren't told no when you watch porn. You can get that feeling as soon as you want it when you watch that. And so this is what drives some men to start watching porn, because they're like, oh well, I will start watching porn because when I watch porn, like I don't have to be asked, can we have sex? I don't have to be asked, is this okay? And I can do it. And then some men will say, well, and I'm not hurting anyone. And then before they know it, it becomes an addiction because it's their way to get away. It's their way to get released. It's their way to feel like, and I can say it for myself, it's their way to feel love. And women sometimes don't see that. And it is a struggle. It is a stronghold because in their minds, they can go to this secret place and feel love talking or chatting or OnlyFans because this person isn't going to tell me no. And I can, and men, I can dump everything and leave and be done. And not have to think about what they're going to say about me tomorrow.
or if you're being viewed as being weak because you just want to have a conversation. And like I said, that I'm so, I guess the passion did come out, but I don't get it. So I don't know if that's where, workshops come in for the women. And this is my disclaimer. Not everybody's like that, but there are some out there who, like we were saying, they want the strong individual, but as
Mhm.
soon as, and they want the individual to show emotion, but when he does, there's
Oh,
a
it's too much.
problem.
Yeah, it's too
Yeah,
much. Yeah.
it's too much. So, that's when we were talking about this on one of the other shows where he came home and he had a bad day at work. It was messing with his mental, and he just wanted to sit down over a glass of wine and talk about his day. Every time he would start talking, um, every time she started he started talking, she would cut him off, and he never got to say what he wanted to say. And my thing is, and like I say, I'm just passionate about this, is let you finish your your statement, your sentence, or whatever, and you might understand what he's going through. He might just want to say, hey, I was working with Billy and Billy just wasn't acting right, and this, it's messing with me. And that might have been all he wanted to say. But before he was able to finish, she went off, on some tantrum about she went shopping or something, or, this happened. And it just circled back to her because he wanted to talk. So he was frustrated about that.
Yeah, so this is my own. I just think it's something in the. And I was talking to another friend. I think it's something in the water. I think it's something in the water, and you can hear my heart on it. Hear my heart, because I have multiple friends, and when I talk to them about certain things, like these people, they don't know each other. The females don't know each other, but the situations and the conversations are exactly the same. The things that they'll say, it's like, she said that? Like, yo, she said the exact same thing to me. She did the exact same thing to me. And so I don't know if it's in the, the TV shows they watch. I don't know if it's in the water that they drink. But what you end up seeing is all of the things they just kind of like, man, how are so many women saying the exact same thing? Like, this person lives in Charlotte, and this person lives in Texas, and this person lives in Baltimore, and this person lives in New York, but they all say the exact same thing, the exact same way, and they're doing it. So I don't know. I think it's something in the water or the TV shows they're watching. But I think, maybe we need to stop drinking water and turn off the TV.
So the next anthology that I'm working on is called Questions Answered. So it's the women who have questions that they want to ask the men, but they're scared to. So I got that coming in. The questions are being answered by the men. But as we sit here, I'm wondering to myself, as my wheels roll, as they do all the time, should I just attempt to have a whole panel discussion for the women to sit there and ask the questions so they can actually feel, they actually can feel the passion from the men going, this is what I feel. Maybe if they saw that passion, hey, I want to talk to you. And just because I show emotion, I'm not a punk. I am the same man that you are dating, married to, situationships, whatever it is. But I just want to be able to be comfortable in my own skin and be myself around you.
Yeah, and I think I seen you pose one question that says, like, why do you shut down when I ask you a question, or why do you stop talking when I want to bring up something? And I'm realizing it's because I think for some men it's like no answer is the right answer. And so if no answer is the right answer, then the best answer is no answer. Does that make sense? Like, so a woman like, oh, well, every time I want to talk to you, you just shut down. And it's like, well, because no answer is the right answer. Because for one, if I tell you how I feel, then it's going to come back. If I say this, then it's not the right thing. And then if I tell you what you want to hear, then you're just agreeing with me and saying I'm doing this. And so there are three options, but all three of the options are the wrong options. So the best option is just say nothing.
And see, to me, that seems like a no-win situation. It's just, what do you do? I mean,
No, I get it. So it's a struggle. And so what's funny? It's funny. And then you'll quickly hear, and I hear, it's funny. I don't hear many men saying it. And maybe, I know we got a few guys in the chat. But like, I don't hear guys saying this as much as I hear women say this. The dating pool is terrible. I don't really hear too many guys saying that. But it's amazing to me, the women that I hear saying that. And then you look at their stories and you look at their, you look at their profiles and you look at and it's like, well, if the dating pool is terrible, when I look at your page, what does that represent? And so if the pool is terrible, then, maybe, just maybe, it starts somewhere else.
And we're not putting a disclaimer on that. That's just truth. But anyway, That's just
You
true.
know, so that's always funny to me. I see certain was like, you know, the dating in pool in 2026 is terrible. And it's just like, well, you know, first off, you know, and this, you know, I'll take it back to church. It's like, well, if you get in the pool at the club, then you already know. If you get in the pool in the club and you're drinking and you're smoking, what are you expecting out of this pool? If you sleeping with the person on the first night, what are you expecting out of the pool? If we go all the way back to what we talked about before, if you don't know your identity and you aren't safe, and my dad used to always say this: two half people make make one whole broken person. And so, if you aren't whole yourself and you're trying to get into a relationship and you haven't healed from your own trauma, all you're doing is going into a relationship hoping that other person becomes your savior. And they don't have the power, they don't have the will, and they don't have the intelligence to be your savior. And I for me, I think many people go into relationships hoping the other person can save them or fix them, and only finding out that at the end they're still two broken people.
Or you have, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience, or you find out that you married the parent that you did not want to be around.
All right. So next question. You told me it was no. All right. You told me it was no off limit ones. I think that one might be an off limit one for me. I can't.
Well, I'm speaking on my own right now. So
I can't go down that one.
on my own. So I realized when my husband died that I actually married my mother, and I did not get along with my mother. I mean, I did, but she was doing that psychological stuff, and he was doing the same thing. So hindsight, I actually married my mother. So that's, yeah, just saying.
I get it.
Didn't marry nobody like my daddy. Better luck next time.
I get it. It's understandable. And so,
but I get what you're saying. You go, the dating pool is the pool that you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you like crisp, clear water, you go to Dubai. If you are unsure,
St. Thomas, St. John,
or Jamaica, that's my go-to.
Yeah. I don't know, but Jamaica's aggressive though. I don't like Jamaica. Jamaica's aggressive, so like I've been to Jamaica a few times, and it's been aggressive. Like you go there, and I almost have to fight because I'm like, yo, do you not see me with her? Like you don't touch her. So Jamaica's a little aggressive. I'm just saying, but so
I think I'm good because I have freckles and they don't have freckles in Jamaica, so I'm always safe there because they were like. But you know, it's just like when they talk about the dating pool, air quote pool, it's depending on what pool you go to. Because you know, I'm gonna take it. You're gonna laugh when I say this, but I'm gonna go back to Coming to America. You can find a good girl in church. You know, depending on what pool you want them from.
Or what church you go to.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell the truth because I ain't hiding. I don't, because ever since I was a little kid, I was a deacon's granddaughter, and I'm used to like the little teeny churches. When my grandmother died, this is how small the church is. They had to move the pews out the way to the side to get her casket in. So that's how I was raised. So growing up, and you know, my husband belonged to, I want to say, a mega church, and I didn't feel comfortable. I felt like I was being judged for what I had on, and instead of me coming in getting my word and my learning for the day. So I've been trying to find that little church. Even if the little church is online, I'm still trying to find it.
But no, I get it. No, and it goes back to what you said. Like for me, like I call myself bougie. Like,
I know
I only go to, and it's you know, tie it back. I only go to, I only get in the water that I can see the bottom, and I think that'll preach. Even in if you look at the pool, like, why are you even going in a situation that you can't see? And if it don't make sense, Like I'm not going like so. I'm from Maryland, and we have a couple beaches around here, and you will never, ever catch me in any of this water because it's murky, it's dirty. Like I don't know what's in it. Like you might get salmonella just going to the beach, and I think just think of that same thing. And so you're going out there. You look at somebody like Houston or Atlanta, and they got these all these. Well, look at the pool. Look at the pool you're going in. And so if you're going into a pool that you can't see the bottom, you're going into a pool where it's murky. You're going into a pool where you already know. So it's like, hey, it's sharks out there. Oh, they ain't gonna bite me though.
They ain't gonna bite today. No,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I seen a bunch of I seen a bunch of stingrays and jellyfish over there. Oh no, don't worry about that. Like I'm good. And so then they go into it, and the either the chick runs up his cards, or the girl does something crazy, and it's like, well, you already knew that when you went and got in the water. You already knew she was crazy. You already knew she had 3 baby daddies. You already knew that he was living with his mother. You already knew that he didn't have a job. You already know he didn't go to church. And now that you are seeing the water, now you are actually seeing the byproducts of the water you got in. You're telling me that the pool is dirty. No. How about, we can stay in this analogy, how about you spend a little bit more money? How about you save yourself a little bit? Staying in that, like, how about we save a little bit? Save yourself. Save some time till you can save up so that you can go to Dubai. Because everybody ain't going to Dubai. But I promise you, if you go there, you're going to have a wonderful time. And so you're mad because of the pool you're swimming in. Could it be the reason why you're mad because the pool you're swimming in is that you keep trying to swim in pools that satisfy your desire today versus saving your time to go to a pool that you can enjoy later? I need to write that down. That's good though.
Yeah, you need to write that or hit replay.
Hit
replay.
But that's the thing is that I would rather get a desire filled today than to save to live in a desire that I can swim in tomorrow.
I'm multitasking. I'm reading. So that's what I'm saying. So when they're saying that it's not available to them, maybe they're in the wrong area. Maybe, like you said, the murky water lookers are looking in the Dubai water for their person when they need to stay in murky. I mean, they're not, maybe the pool that their dating pool is not what in the pool that they're looking for. So maybe they need to change where they're looking.
Yeah.
They just need to change where they're looking. So I mean,
but in mental health, they need to change themselves first.
Well, yeah, we do have to heal first, but
yeah, you got to change yourself first.
I agree with Dr. Gwen, but but see, then that goes back to what we were saying earlier, that you get kind of like that. They're together. I want a strong man, but I also want that man to be vulnerable. But when he shows emotion, I'm going to turn around and hold it against him, or I'm going to walk away from him, or I'm going to call him a punk. And then he leaves to what was it? The cuddle, get his cuddle from a side chick just because the person at home don't listen. So that's.
Facts. I agree. And so that's the thing for me, even in mental health. Like I think it's so important for men and women to do the individual work every single day, because I genuinely believe that if men and women, if they wake up every single day and eat pie, it's like it becomes the pool. Like, so I don't know where you located. Where you located at?
I'm down the road from you. I'm in Charlottesville.
Okay. So there was a scenario where, and I mean, I don't believe it, but what they were trying to do even in our area is they were trying to clean the waters, right? And I think that's what we got to start trying to do, is figure out, like, how do we clean the pools of ourselves versus trying to figure out what another pool looks like. It's kind of like, what the book says. It's like, hey, you're trying to get the beam out of someone else's eye, and you're missing the boulder in your own. And so I think that's that's a big place to start. It's like, hey, if we want to be mentally healthy, mentally well, it's how do I do the inner work in me? Because if I do the inner work in me, and it's almost like, Bob Proctor and some other people, then you'll start attracting the well that you flow from, right? So whatever well, or whatever well that is inside of you, it attracts other people. And it is what it is. We are magnetic people of certain kind of people. And so if you keep attracting a certain kind of person, well, maybe you're a messy person. I mean, I just hate to, sometimes when I do counseling, I'm like, well, maybe you're messy. Like, if every single situation you go in and you keep being attracted to a messy person, you might be messy. If every single person you attracted to, they got daddy issues, maybe you got daddy issues.
We got a correction on it's jump into somebody else's pool. It was a correction. But considering the conversation,
clean your pool first, right? Like that. Listen, I can't have no company until I clean my pool first. I'm not going jumping in somebody else's pool.
I mean, it's just, yeah, but like you said, you do attract how you carry yourself and who you are, what you portray is what you're going to bring back, no matter what the pool look like. Because what you're looking for in the pool might be in there, but if you're attracting and portraying the piranha that's in the pool and you trying to get the goldfish, that's what you're going to get. But the other thing I see people struggling with, and I'm gonna let you jump on this one because I know you got an answer for it, is that you see Johnny and Jessica, and they have like this, which I don't think everybody's perfect, but they have like this perfect relationship and everything's going well. You're so busy focused on how theirs is going, is that you're setting your expectations for yourself to be like theirs instead of doing your own thing. Like we were talking about earlier, go down the path that's set for you. And stop trying. And I see a lot of that where they compare. And this is disclaimer for the women. I'm gonna throw this disclaimer out because we all do it. We compare ourselves to others versus accepting who we are and developing what we have. And we tear ourselves down because we don't look like the women that are attracting the men that's in the pool that we want.
Yeah, and I think so. Now I talk about that in my book as well. Like the way that I kind of shape that in the book is that sometimes the biggest thing, even with that and comparison in life, it's we are comparing someone chapter 10 to our chapter 1. And sometimes this person, they could be at chapter 15 in their life, and you're at chapter 2 in your life. And so like if I use my book, so like, hey, you're at the place in your life where you're talking about you got a great seat, but their relationship has progressed to the place in their life where they're talking about, hey, our lives are messy on purpose, right? And so if you try to compare the two, like there are bolding differences because they've walked through some things that you haven't walked through yet. And so until you walk through what they walk through, then you can't see their chapter 13. You can't see their chapter 12. And so and that's what happens in life. Here's another thing that I also noticed is that no one wants the disciplined. I see my man, the law of fitness. He understands this. No one wants the discipline of today to get the summer body of tomorrow. They just want the summer body today without the discipline. And so what I even mean in that is like, so we look at relationships and we would rather have the perfect person that is married now because they've walked through something. And you have a person in front of you right now that you could walk and do life with them and love them, because that's a big thing. Like we talk about love. No, it's more like, hey, what can you do for me right now? And so we got to walk through chapters with each other. Like we got to walk through life with each other, because none of this is going to be easy. None of it is going to be fun. But what we have to do is, if we can walk through life with people and love them through that seasons, like, because so you might meet someone today and they're in one season. And if you can't love them through all of their seasons, then for me, I don't even think you should be with them. Like, because most times when you meet people, you might meet them in a season where everything's perfect. But what happens if they become paralyzed? What happens if they can't have a job? Like, can you love them through those seasons? Because when you can love them through those seasons, that's how you get to chapter 13. That's how you get to chapter 15. That's how you get to chapter 30 in 8 years in the marriage. And you're like, oh, well, don't nobody know their story. They could be struggling in the background, but I can tell you what they are. They are consistently working through their chapters. And most people are closing the books on chapter 3 or chapter 2, and they'll never see chapter 15, 40, or 50 years of marriage in a relationship, because they're comparing 30 years to your second year. And they had a whole lot of stuff that they had to go through in between.
Told you. Told you. I was like, oh, you got me started now. I'm still thinking about our previous. I didn't shiny squirrel on you. I'm still thinking about the one, the showing not weakness, but showing his feelings and viewed as being weak. I get real passionate about that. That irks me to no end.
Yeah.
That a person cannot come into his own home and have a conversation about how he feels and have a fear of it being turned back on him.
I agree.
That's wrong. Nobody should. If you have a house, like you said, even though you may be working through stuff, you should still be able to come home and talk about it. Would they rather, like I said, it feels like that the person rather have, him come home and tear the house up and sit there and drink, and they're more comfortable with that than a man that would sit there and say, hey, I got this going on. So what if he has tears in his eyes? That's And I told you, there's no disclaimer about that, because that irks me. I don't care what female or female don't like it. Stop.
100.
You know I'm fired up about that one. Just stop. We went from fear of failure all the way to
No, you're good. And so, and I can, just in my preacher mode, I can circle it all back. So because in the fear of failure, in the fear of all of those things, like, I think that's a part of mental health. It's a part of mental health is the fear. And so for me, it's like, hey, like, how do I regain confidence to do this again? Or how do I regain confidence to do that? And I think in relationships and all of that, I think it all starts from where we kind of started the segment from, is understanding that I have a great seat. And so if I know that I have a great seat, then I can start again in business. I can start again in a relationship. I can start again in ministry. I can start again. And I don't have the fear. I don't have to have the fear that the pool is bad, or I don't have to have the fear that everything is going wrong. I don't have to have that fear, because even in it, if I am doing the right things, if I am moving in the right direction, I am determined that I have a great seat. Because I have a great seat, relationships is going to work for my good. It may not feel good, but it's going to work for my good. And so just kind of continue to go in the book. And so another thing in the book, I talk about that fear of failure is that I understand how to win with disadvantages. And so winning with disadvantage is like, I can walk through things and see it's like, okay, I can handle this. I can bounce back from this. I'm resilient from this. I understand how this relationship affected me. I understand how this female, it hurted me, or I can understand how this business part hurt me. And so just walking through all of that. And so knowing all these things keeps reminding me, hey, Stephen, I know this happened, but you're right on schedule. I know it's crazy, but you're right on schedule. And here's where I kind of sum it all up, because through all of that, this allows me to sit and have a conversation with you. This allows me to share some of the wisdom that I've learned along the way. Is that I understand all of that because my mess, it actually had a message. And so I went through all of those things, and it was messy and it was terrible. And you asked me before we started the show, like, what's off limits? And I said nothing. Why? Because I'm not living in a messy life no more. I'm living in a message life now. And so when I look at relationships and I look at ministry and I look at business, I'm not living in a messy place. I can share from living through life lessons that it was messy, but here's the message I learned from it. Like, yes, that situation happened to me and it was messy, but here's the message I learned from it. And so this is what helps me not to look at life as failures, but life lessons. To know that through all of that, I am right on schedule, because in one season it was messy, but in the season I stand in right now, I'm right on schedule because I can share a good message.
Hence, title of the book. You know, I have to throw that in every time you say it. Title of the book. So we were talking about fear of failure, and we were reconditioning ourselves to say what?
That what I'm looking at is this is a life lesson. It's not a failure. Like, this is what's in front of me isn't a failure. I'm resilient. I'll bounce back. I'm better. I'm stronger. I'm wiser because of it. And yes, it hurts. And yes, it was messy. But I've now conditioned myself to act. So even in every life lesson, no matter how messy, I ask myself, what's the message? Man, divorce was hard. Okay, what was the message? Closing a church, it was hard. Okay, what was the message? Like, man, businesses that I thought were going to thrive, they didn't happen. Okay, what's the message? And in that message,
removing the fear of failure to walk the path and get the message.
Yeah.
That's going to take a little work, because I always use my fear of failure. I'm like, there's so much stuff that I want to do, hence the event in June, that I'm getting in my own way because of fear of failure. I don't want to fail, but then we go back to, if two people show up, there's no such thing as failure. You reached the two that was supposed to be there.
Yeah. And so I think you, in all of it, just what's the message? What is the message in this? What is the message in this life lesson that I need to learn? Because once you get that, it becomes easier. It becomes easier. I'm not saying it's easy. It's two different things. It becomes easier. It's not easy, but it becomes easier. It's like going to the gym. Like, I hate going to the gym, but the more I go, it becomes easier. Like, every single day, I dread going to the gym. But every single day, I'm like, all right, let me go. And so before you know it, I have made it easier.
That falls under the discipline.
Yep.
I was listening to you. I was listening. Might not look like it, but I was listening. Oh, and look, I'm heading to the gym now.
I blame Miss Pam. I didn't get to go today, but I'll be there. I'll be there first thing in the morning. I blame. Normally I go to the gym. I train my son between 5:30 and 7:30. So I blame.
Oh, so it's my fault that you couldn't take that 8:30 slot.
8:30. No, he got to go to bed. He got to go to bed. He got to get to bed. His bedtime is 9:30. So, and the gym is 30 minutes away. I know it's excuses, but we're gonna be back in there tomorrow. gonna be back in there tomorrow. We be
It's
back in there
all my
tomorrow.
fault. So before I let you go, because you know you're gonna come back again, because we got more to talk about. Where can people find you?
Yeah. So first, the easiest way is through social media. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, X, and they're all under Stephen Foster, Foster, and then it's YNS on all the platforms. And you also can follow me on my website. It is, and I think I just changed the URL. I hope I don't get y'all the wrong URL. It is iamstephenfoster.com. Let me look on Instagram because I might have switched it. I think I
And
might.
if you guys didn't catch that, we are working. I have drafted somebody who I know is still listening to help me get things loaded on the YouTube page correctly, because I'm totally struggling with that. And I'm getting to the point in my life now where I am asking people to do stuff because I cannot afford a personal assistant. So some of this stuff is going to get shoveled out to people. That's where I'm at. So that's just where I'm at. So I will, each time I do this, my plan is to have websites and everything listed on the page with you guys. So I totally am talking about you. So we're going to get it set up. We're going to get it set up. We're going to be up and running because there's no failure here and there's no fear of it. So I'm not going to write that book tonight. Then you can forget that. That's not happening. That's not happening. That little lady in Indianapolis, she just gonna have to buy something else because I ain't doing it.
No, so also, and we can talk. Like I you know, that's something I help coach people through as well. Like I think, I mean, so and I'm not saying it's easier because I write a lot of sermons, but like I think we just sat on a call for an hour and a half, and I've shown people how we can sit on a call just like this for 2 hours and we can talk your book out and you're done.
Well, it's written. All 6 of them are written. I did the old school. They're all written. They're all done. It's just taking them from the notebook to the computer.
Well, and that's the easy part. So we just talk it. We could just talk it. We're at an age now we just talk it. Or like that's what I'm saying. We can talk. It's ways where we could literally take that, scan it, and be done. We can take it, talk it, and be done. Like we can have that. We can have that done in a day, in one day.
Well, see, I got okay. So those that are in here know me. I got like this like really twisted little mind when I go to do this, and I have it, and like one paragraph could turn into a whole nother freaking chapter.
Yeah, so you're like them other clients I have. Nope, you're like them other clients I have. Say, listen, I understand. So it goes back to, remember when I told you about the 2 fish and the 5 loaves? Like,
right?
Yes, it's 2 fish.
I know I'm sitting on them.
Yeah, so it's 2 fish and 5 loaves, and we can break them and they can be multiplied. But every fish didn't fit in one basket, and so it's just multiple baskets. And I just be like, okay, that's another basket, but we can't put it in this basket. And so that's what you need. You need somebody to say it can't go in this basket. We're gonna put that in another basket. Come back to it later.
And I know we're just off topic, but this okay. Take 2 seconds. When I am not at home, I can write. If I lock myself in a hotel room, I could be here at home. If I lock myself in a hotel room, I'm good. It's just that shiny squirrel, like, I start typing and then I could put that load of clothes in, or it's discipline.
Yeah, no, you're good. We can definitely talk.
Yeah, discipline. But like I said, we got to do this again. We got to pick up because I know we got more to talk about. Which I know I will tell you about. I got the stuttering going on because the shiny squirrel's kicking in. So in June's going to be big. It's going to be big for the men. I say for me because the way my wheels are rolling on how I want it done. I probably will have to take a week off just to recuperate from what my mind is thinking on how to have this laid out. So you're definitely, if you don't come back before June, you will be, notice how I just give you this like little nudge. little nudge. Nay, you will be back in June. You have to come back in June. So I'm gonna do a lot of podcasts during the month of June. I don't know if Dedrick is still in here, but we're coming to Maryland for Coffee and Conversation. So we're gonna bring that up there where the guys come in and they just, I don't know if it's coffee shop, but that's kind of the thought process where you guys just come in, chit chat, have a good time. There's so many other things that's rolling around in this brain that I want to do to get the men together. I want to spread it out. I don't want to have it all in one location, and I just want it, kind of like everywhere. So I'm gonna do something here in Charlottesville, Richmond, Maryland, DC, and North Carolina. So I don't even think I'll be home in the month of June. But anyway, so I'm just trying to get it everywhere that I can get it.
Okay. All right. Make it
so
work.
I'm gonna be busy. So the month of June, even though all years should be men's mental health wellness, June is supposed to be the month. So yeah, I'll sleep in July.
All right.
I'll sleep in July. But I will make sure we stay in touch. This will be up so you can see it. It might be on your because you're connected with it. Might be on yours automatically.
Okay. Yeah, I think once we hit stop, it'll automatically save.
See, we need to. I'm gonna have to get a little bit more techie on this one, but we'll fight that fight too, because there's no such thing as failure. Thank you, my friend. Thank you all for the conversation in the chat. We appreciate it. Like the dialogue.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.